guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today we are going to be discussing my kids' new chore assignments as well as our homeschool schedule for the upcoming homeschooling year that we will be starting in just a few weeks. I'm going to cover all of the bases in one video, from down to how I plan out our school year to what our daily homeschooling schedule looks like, to breaks and when we plan on taking them, and just kind of sharing with you guys the overall big picture as far as scheduling goes for our homeschool. I know so many of you guys are returning subscribers, so thank you so much for continuing to watch my content after sharing about homeschooling all of these years. But if you are new, welcome. I would love to have you subscribe and stick around. We are getting ready to enter our 7th homeschooling year, and we are also entering our first year of homeschooling high school. So we are at a new crossroads in my mom homeschooling journey, and I plan to continue to share with you guys everything as I figure out my footing and just embark on this new chapter. So with all of that being said, I have my planner right here, and then I have each of my kids' homeschool binders, which I did a whole video on those specifically. So if you are wondering what is a homeschool binder, go watch that video. It's just kind of something I made up that I like to have in my homeschool. But we're gonna start with the big schedule and then break it down and go smaller. So I'm gonna go the whole year, then the weekly schedule, then the daily schedule, then I'll talk about breaks, and then we'll talk about chores, and I'll just read you guys the things that I have assigned my kids as far as chores go for no other reason than to give you some ideas. I do have 4 children. Did I mention that? And when we start our school year, will be ranging in ages from 14 to 9. So yeah. Let's start chatting about homeschooling schedules. As always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your schedule is looking like this year. If you've got it figured out, if you plan, if we do things similarly, or if you have any questions, and I will be sure to get back to you guys. Okay, so as far as our yearly homeschool schedule goes, I do not follow the public school calendar. I just want to say that right out of the gate. However, I do stick to the 36 weeks of school. Now, that doesn't mean that, obviously we haven't been learning all summer and taking in experiences, but I'm just talking about 36 weeks of, dedicated in the books, in our curriculum, school. I do follow that. So 36 weeks for a whole school year, broken into 4 quarters. I do use a quarter system for no other reason than to evaluate progress. It's not something that I stress out over. It just helps me see okay, week 1 through 9, 9 through 18, 18 to 27, 27 to 36. It gives me just a pace on our homeschool, where we should be, what different things I hope to accomplish by certain points in the year. So I do a 36-week school year broken down into 4 quarters, where I do break them down into weeks 1 through 9. I do have homeschool planning printables available on my website, which will be linked down below for you guys. And I do have goal setting sheets for quarters. You guys know I'm a huge goal setter. It just helps with living intentionally and making sure that I'm living in a way that I want to be, and not just letting the days fly by and feeling oh, I didn't even think about that. Everything I do with purpose, and my homeschool is no exception to that. So I do use my quarter goal setting sheets to kind of set goals for each quarter before we head into the quarter. Now, even though I know that I'm going to do a 36-week school year broken down into 4 quarters of about 9 weeks, the only one that I plan out ahead of starting our school year, so the only one that I have planned out in my planner here is the first quarter. And the reason why I don't plan out the subsequent quarters is because life happens. Things come up, trips come up, sickness comes up, unexpected life events come up. And so if I were to plan out an entire school year, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I would just have to go back and erase pretty much everything that I did, because I wouldn't be on, let's say, week 20 of school when I thought I was going to be, and then it would mess up everything else following that. So I've learned through experience for myself that I just don't plan those out. So the only quarter that I have planned out is our first quarter, and it is planned out in my planner. I always get asked about planners. I have been an Erin Condren planner user for the last 5 to 7 years. Prior to homeschooling, I ran my personal training business all from my Erin Condren planner. And so although I don't love all of the things that the company has been endorsing, I already had my planner purchased, and so I'm not going to throw it away. It was expensive and it works really well for me, so just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. So I have my Erin Condren planner here, and I get asked all the time, like, how do I plan out homeschool? So what I do is on these monthly layouts, at the beginning, so you can see this is like the whole month, I go through and I write down the weeks of school. And that's how I keep track of it, as like an overview. So for example, like the first week, I would write like week 1, week 2, week 3. That's how I keep track of weeks. And then when I move on to days, like the daily thing, I will just write down for each day school. That's all I write down. I don't write down lessons. I don't write down lesson plans. The only extra things that I write down in this planner are like poetry tea times with friends, get-togethers with friends, going to the park, maybe going on a field trip or an outing. I will write that down, but I do not write down lessons in my planner. So we are planning to start our first day of school on August the 30th. And so I have jotted down right here, first day, you guys can see. And then I have the weeks planned out. You guys can see exactly what I was talking about. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And I have gone all the way through week 9, because that is our first quarter, and I can generally forecast out 9 weeks. Like, I know what we're doing, what trips we're taking, and so that's how I plan out my quarters. So I will plan quarter 2 when I'm almost at the end of quarter 1. So when I'm around the 7 or the 8 week mark, I'll sit down and I'll plot out the next 9 weeks of school, taking into account holidays, trips, anything like that. But as of now, I only plan out the first quarter. So I hope that explains how I plan, like, big picture. I just know 36 weeks, I pick my start date, and then I plan my first quarter, which is weeks 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, depending on how you look at it. So that's how we do things. One thing I do want to mention is that when we start a homeschooling year, still after all of this time, it is really important that I really just carve out all the time for school. So that means no traveling and, you know, like big trips, or, you know, taking a week off. It doesn't lend itself to getting back into the routine and schedule of school days, waking up early, going to bed earlier, getting back on schedule. if, you know, after 2 weeks of doing schoolwork, we're taking a week off for vacation. So I really try to not do that. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have any trips planned, because we do, but they're more like weekend things, or maybe just like a Friday type thing where we're still going to be getting in 4 school days, and so that's fine. But I don't like to take any big chunks of time off in the first quarter, and so we will not be taking a break right when we start. We'll be taking off like a random day or 2 here or there, but not like an entire week. Also, I know that quarter 2 generally falls during the holidays, and we have much more desire to take time off of school book work during that time of year. So quarter 1 is like a more focused time of dedicated schoolwork, and that's just the way we do things. So I hope that helps. Now, moving on from the weekly schedule to the daily schedule. So for my daily schedule, when we are homeschooling, I wake up between 6 and 6:30. I have tried to get up earlier. It's just not in my DNA to do so. And in order to be a happy, pleasant mother, I just cannot wake up any earlier than that. But I do get up between 6 and 6:30 and get everything going for my day, the kids' day. I allow us plenty of time in the morning to take care of our dogs, to get our chores done, to everybody get dressed and have breakfast, to clean up after breakfast, to do Bible time. So we generally will start our school days between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. We always start with our morning time together around the table downstairs. Around 10:30, I have a snack break. It's a very quick thing. It's like grab a snack and then come back to the table if we're not done. And then after the snack break, we go ahead and we come upstairs into our schoolroom where everybody starts working on their individual subjects. Around 12:30, we take a lunch break, and then after the lunch break, we come back up. Lunch break is generally 30 to 45 minutes, and then we come back up and we finish up our schoolwork. And my goal and hope and prayer is that everyone is done with their school day between 2:30 and 3 at the latest for my oldest kids. My younger kids are definitely done more around like 1 o'clock versus, you know, the later time, but I just don't plan anything else during those hours. So that's kind of what our daily schedule looks like. Once we wrap up our school day, that's when I will exercise for an hour. Then after exercising, it's generally around 4, and that is when I need to start getting everyone ready for their extracurricular activities, getting dinner going, and all of those things. And then we move on into our nights, which look different depending on the day of the week and where everyone is going and who has what and all of those good things. Generally, my kids are in bed by 8:15, 8:30, and my older kids have kind of moved on into the lights out phase around 9 o'clock, and I'm waking them up between 6:30 and 7. Some of my kids wake up on their own. Some of them need to be woken. So that's kind of our daily rhythm and schedule. All of those times are flexible and loose, but that's generally like the starting time, the ending time, the lunch time. Those are times I do stick to. As far as breaks go, like I said at the beginning of the video, I do not plan out all of our breaks at the beginning of the year because there's just things that I don't know, and we like to, you know, have spontaneity a little bit in our life where we're like, ooh, let's go here, let's go check that out, let's go on a trip. But there are some things that we do plan ahead. So I do not stick to a certain like breaking schedule. For example, something called Sabbath schooling is where you school 6 weeks and take 1 week off. I don't do anything like that. I reserve breaks for when we need them, and I take them mostly for traveling and vacation. If there ever comes a point in our school year where we have been doing schoolwork solidly 4 to 5 days a week for longer than 6-7 weeks without a break, then I will just go ahead and take a week off, because I know that if I push past that 7-8 week mark of continuous schooling, that really just doesn't, it lends itself to kind of burnout and fatigue on my part. So generally I don't have to really put those in, because we're taking breaks as we need them for trips or holidays or whatever. And so in general, we're not really doing schoolwork 5 days a week for longer than 8 weeks without having like a day off or a break. But if that happens, then I will put one right on in there because I need it. So that's the way that I do breaks. I use them for trips, and then as the year goes, I just see where we're at, and somehow we just always magically finish earlier than I think. And so through the years, I've learned to not stress out over taking breaks because you know, you will finish your curriculum sooner than you think, and you'll be like, what? We weren't supposed to be done until August and it's May. What happened? That happens to me almost every single year, and still every single year there is a point in the year where I'm like, should I be farther than week 18 in January? It seems like I should be. And then somehow that happens. It really is the natural ebb and flow of life that merges with homeschool. Like homeschooling and life, they go together, and there's times of focused learning, like I mentioned at the beginning of the school year. Then there's times of like experiences and holidays and family togetherness where you might have, you know, less intense, like 5-day-a-week school days. And then there's times where you get back on track, generally after the holidays, and then after the spring and being really focused there, you move on into like getting ready to finish, and then there's a little, you know, it's just like the natural flows of school. And doing this for so long, I've learned to not freak out about breaks. So that's the way that I kind of plan breaks. I did forget to mention, we do school 5 days a week. I plan for that now. For the longest time I did 4, and it worked out so well until my oldest was in 8th grade. So if you're a mom with littles, highly encourage you to do the 4-day-a-week school week. And that was a wonderful time that I look back on fondly and wish I could sometimes go back to, but we do need 5 days now to cover all of the bases. So that is basically our schedule, from the broad yearly picture down to the weekly and the quarterly to the daily, and how I plan breaks. I know I covered a lot there, so if you have any questions about it, definitely leave them down below, or if you want me to make a more specific video on something, let me know. And if you see a video request and you're like, yes, I want to see that too, give that person's comment a thumbs up. That helps me. So now moving on into chores. I always reevaluate my kids' chore assignments before we start a new school year. Number one, because I'm redoing their homeschool binders and they keep their chore lists in here. Number two, because it's just a really good time for me to evaluate our home, the needs of our home, life skills that I want my kids to learn. Life skills like learning how to clean or do laundry or make meals is all a part of our homeschool. And so I often find that what I can do is I can plug in a skill into a chore that they might not be super familiar with, and then they do it as their chore, and then by the end of the year they're very proficient at doing said task, because cleaning, cleanliness, all of those things are very important. So I like to revisit the chores at the start of a school year, and my kids keep the same chores the whole school year, so we don't change them unless something really comes up or I'm like, wow, that needs to be done. Then I'll change it, but for the most part, they stay the same. I also want to mention that these chores do not include the daily cleaning up of their room, making their bed, brushing their teeth, picking up their floor in their bedroom at night, making sure their laundry makes it to the laundry hamper. All those types of things are just kind of like requirements for living in my house. Those aren't chores. So the chores that are here are additional tasks that they do each day, and they do them in the morning before we start school. So that that way our home environment is a nice, peaceful, generally clean and tidy place that is a good environment for them and a good environment for me, because as a homeschooling mom, if my house is in complete and utter disarray, I am distracted, I am slightly irritable, and so having a clean home is important to me. So just throwing that disclaimer out there. So for my youngest daughter, who is 9 years old, I have her chore chart here. And if you guys want a closer look at these, you can watch that binder video. These chore charts are available as well to purchase on my website. So for Monday, I have her dusting the living room and our stair banister. Tuesday, she is Windexing the appliances and emptying all of the trash cans around the house. Wednesday, I have her wiping out the showers and the bathtubs. Thursday is her morning to empty the dishwasher. Friday, she is dusting my bedroom here. Saturday is her backyard dog cleanup day. You guys know what that means. And then this year, something new that I'm doing is assigning my kids a day of the week that they're making lunch for all of the siblings. Not me, I'll still make my own lunch, but for their siblings. So her day to make lunch is going to be Friday. And that is just going to help her with her kitchen skills and like there's lots to that, but that's something new that I added on this year. My son, who is going to be in the 6th grade, he is 11. His chores are as follows. Monday, wiping and disinfecting the bathroom counters and sinks. Tuesday, vacuuming and wiping our stairs. We have 4 dogs. The dog hair is unreal. Wednesday is his empty the dishwasher day. Thursday is his backyard cleanup day. Friday, he is to Windex all the bathroom mirrors in the house. Saturday, he is dusting his bedroom. And Thursday is his making lunch day. My next son, who is going to be in the 8th grade and is 13, his chores are Monday, Clorox wiping the toilets and cleaning the inside of the toilet bowls. Tuesday, unloading the dishwasher. Wednesday, cleaning up the backyard after the dogs. Thursday, vacuuming our downstairs hard flooring and our upstairs tile in the bathroom and in the laundry room. Friday, he dusts our schoolroom. Saturday is laundry day. That is a life skill he's learning this year. And Wednesday is his making lunch day. My oldest daughter, who is 14 and going into the 9th grade, her chores: Monday, unloading the dishwasher. Tuesday, she does her own laundry, so that's her laundry day. She washes, dries, puts it away. Wednesday, she's wiping down all of the cabinets in our house, our kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, with a wet cloth. Again, dogs who shake and drool goes everywhere. Thursday, she's mopping our downstairs flooring. Friday is her dog cleanup day. Saturday, she is vacuuming the whole house, the carpet. And Tuesday is her lunch day. So those are my kids' chores. Like I mentioned, they do the daily things of making their bed, cleaning up after themselves, etc. But that is a requirement daily that they do before we start school. You can tell it's one thing. They're not overworked. It's not super complicated, but learning how to clean and maintain a home is important, and that is a part of our homeschool, just like making meals and cooking. Now, the reason why I'm having them add on making lunch is because just last homeschool year, I had them start making their own breakfast for the same reason. So the reason why I was making breakfast every day up until last year was because I actually do enjoy making my kids breakfast and getting things all ready for them. But I realized that in me doing that, they were not really getting any kitchen experience because they all are active in sports and extracurriculars. So like making dinner and doing things like that is just not something that they're going to do. So I realized if they are going to learn how to make things, they need to start making their own meals. And plus, that's helped a lot with like my kids who are early risers. They're not waiting on their other siblings who are later risers to have breakfast. They can all just eat as they make it. And so lunch will be an expansion upon that. And so also like making food for other people and serving each other, and along with making lunch on that day, it is going to be their requirement that they clean up the kitchen, they load the dishwasher after lunch. And so yeah, I figured 1 day a week for 4 kids, and then I'll do it one day. That'll be our 5-day school week, and then that will just give them some more experience in the kitchen making food and just learning how to do things like that. My youngest is only 9, and so, you know, she can do stuff, but I definitely feel like she's learning these things a lot earlier than her older siblings, because I don't know, being a mom of so many little kids for so long, I just got in the habit of doing a lot for them. And so I am trying to do less for them because I need them to learn how to do it. It is easier if I just do it. It's way less messy if I just do it, but I know that they need to do that. And so that is what our chore schedule is looking like. So that is everything for this epic video on homeschooling schedules and chores. If you have any questions, post them down below. But I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you found this video helpful. I will see you all in my next video really soon. Bye, guys.